what are the
Right.
different type of like which group of people normally we call under a salary plan? Which group of people mainly come under salary plan?
All the full-time employees.
Correct. So there are various type of plans like salary plan, hourly plan. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So let's look into like how we normally create salary plans. Okay,
Okay.
within Workday.
Okay.
For example, the task will be simple, right? Whenever you want to create anything, you have to use the prefix word create. Like for
Okay.
example, you want to create salary plan, you will use it create salary plan. You want to create allowance plan, you will mention create allowance plan. If you want to create merit plan, you will use the word create merit plan. In case
Okay.
you want to make any changes in the existing plan, in that
Mhm.
scenario, you will use the edit option,
Okay.
like edit salary plan, edit allowance plan. Okay. If you just
That is for
only,
adjusting the salary plan.
yeah, if you just only want to view the plan, you can just use the word view. Okay. So these are the various prefix word that is mainly used. If in case you are trying to use create, edit or view, you are not getting the option, it's better just type in whatever you want to do. Like for example, salary plan. Okay.
Okay.
You will get the option like here you can see create salary plan, edit salary plan. So this is
Mhm.
the another options that you have.
Okay.
Okay. So let's talk about salary plan. Again, there is an effective date. So talking about the salary plan normally that you are going to create. So since when it is going to be effective? Normally, what we do is, as per the standard practice, we keep the dates as of 1/1/9900. This is the
Okay.
normally standard date that we use. This date is not specific for all the scenarios.
And usually in my organization also we use the typical date because of all the to run the history of the plans. Yes.
Correct. So the reason being, let's take an example for salary plan, right? Salary plan is something common, like which we use, right? This is not something which I'm introducing in mid of something,
Mm-hmm.
right? Let's the reason why we create or why we use this data is, let's take an example of some workers, right? Like I want to track the history of the workers as well, like someone who joined my company 10 years back, right? I would have some data related to that. So that is one of the reasons why we keep the date as the oldest date, which is nothing but 1/1/1900. That's the standard practice mainly that we use in work. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So talking about here, we have to mention the name of the plan, right?
Okay.
Depending upon whatever salary plan name that we want to use it.
Okay.
Okay. Like for example, let's take an example of, I'm just giving my name, initial like Raj, salary plan. Okay.
Okay.
Because I can give any name as per my convenience. Okay. I'm just using the name initials. You can ignore this because this is a practice tenant. I want to search my plan. So just for that reference purpose, I'm using this.
Okay. So usually we do it like plan name can be like India salary plan or
Yes,
Japan salary plan. Okay.
correct. Okay. If
Yeah.
in case you want to give a description again related to this plan, you can just add on some description.
Okay.
Okay. Here you have FT, full-time employment. Like how you want to evaluate the full-time employment percentage. Apply
Okay.
FT percentage. Okay.
Mhm.
If you talk about this apply FT percentage, this is calculated depending upon, let me open Notepad. Okay. So talking about FT percentage, okay, there is
Mhm.
a calculation. Let's take an example. Total number of weekly hours that any worker is eligible to work. Okay, let's
Yes.
take an example of it. With respect to by default weekly hours, like for different countries, there are different weekly hours. Okay,
Okay.
like for example, for United States, it's 40. For India, it's 45. For other countries, it's 38 hours. So it depends. Okay.
Okay.
So this FT percentage is calculated upon like whatever the uh, default weekly hours that we have for that specific country. Within that, whatever percentage, let's take an example if we talk about part-time workers, right? So they normally works in US, it's around 20 hours, like 0.5 FT. Okay.
Yeah.
0.25 FT. There are some workers, okay, who mainly work 10 hours in a week or 9 hours
Yeah,
in a week.
like an intern or working student,
Yeah.
it is
So
common.
normally you can use this, okay. Use assigned value. After
Okay.
that, we have this option. If in case we
Mhm.
do not want to use this, use assigned value in 100% calculation. Okay, so this is going to calculate each and everyone as like 100% FT. Okay, if in case you don't want to consider any of those, it is going to be none of the above. Like whichever worker will become eligible for this plan, they will be 100% FT. Okay,
Okay.
so that
Okay.
is the another thing that you can. After that, here we have compensation element.
Okay.
Okay, so normally here we use base pay.
Okay.
Any idea like why we like normally yesterday also when I was creating that I was mentioning about base pay. Why I'm not using anything else?
Because base pay is the net component of the total target
Correct.
compensation.
Correct. Okay. That is the reason why I'm using base pay. Okay.
Because the rest comes under the allowances and prerequisites, so it is not considered.
Correct. After that, here we have eligibility rules. This is important.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
This is not mandatory. Okay.
Okay.
Let's take an example. There is a company who have only full-time employees.
Okay.
Okay. Do not have any contractors or any hourly workers or anything. So in that scenario, they can go with there is no need of eligibility rule to be defined here. Okay.
Okay.
Or else, but in ideal scenario or in real time scenario, there are different group of workers that is available like salaried, hourly. Okay. In that scenario, we have to define here.
Okay.
Okay. Like eligibility criteria. So mainly talking about the eligibility criteria that we have to create here, we will again use the same task for creating the eligibility rules, which we used as yesterday.
Yes. So
Like for example, create eligibility rule.
okay.
Okay. So we will always go with the compensation eligibility rule because this is related to compensation.
Okay.
Okay. So let's take an example.
We can
Uh,
pull that in.
Raj salaried employees. Yes. Okay. I can define here. First of all, I'll define the country. This criteria and everything will depend upon the real-time scenario, like whatever, like whichever group of workers the client want to make under
Mhm.
full time. Okay. So for
Okay.
example, if I talk about your company, right, like what is the criteria that they have for full-time workers apart from the country one? Like if in case there are multiple countries, obviously one of the criteria that we have to
Just
define is,
add one on one, right? If
sorry,
if there are multiple countries, you just ask to use the plus symbol, and you can add the multiple countries. All right.
correct. We can add
Okay.
multiple countries at the same time. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but like for different salary, for different companies, we can use different uh, salary plan. Okay. That's how mainly ideally we segregate so that we don't mix up things.
Mm.
Okay. So
Okay.
normally in real time scenarios, we segregate it country wise. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Talking about there can be some other criterias like, for example, if I can tell you, like worker type. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
There are two type of worker type.
Yeah. Full time and part time.
Yeah. So I can define here worker type. Okay. Okay. This is worker returns the applicable worker subtype. Okay.
Okay.
So normally whatever field we are using, just to cross verify, we have to check whether we are getting the right set of fields or not. By type here, I will have multiple options. Like for example, within employee type, there are so many. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
so I can choose from here, but this is giving me the subtype of the worker, right? If in case you want to check anything else, like exactly what worker type you are looking, so we have other options to get into the insights. Let me open this worker. Time type full time, we can use this. Employee type is regular. Okay, so there are different fields that we can use from here, or FD percentage we can use. Okay, so there are different criteria that we can use, and we can add on here, and we can use the check time. I can use the full time here. Okay, I can click this OK.
It throws an error.
Because I used this relational operator of the previous one, that's why it gave me an error. I will use the one any in the selection list.
Okay.
Okay. Now I can use this as in the salaried plan.
Okay.
Okay. After that, there is another component that we have here, exclude from merit.
Okay.
Let's take an example. If we do not want to use the salary plan in the merit process,
Okay.
okay, then I can use this checkbox.
Okay.
Okay.
So exclude from merit, technically it will not compute even the future calculations of the merit percentage of the salary, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay. So normally we will not do that because this will be considered in the merit process. So we will ignore that. So normally talking about this, this occurs in some respective scenarios. Let's take an example when an employee has more than one salary plan. Okay,
Okay.
and only that worker should receive only one plan in the merit. Okay, in that scenario we can exclude one of the merit plan. Okay, if in
Okay.
case any worker is eligible for multiple. Okay,
Okay.
so this was related to the salary plan. This is how normally it is created. I will let you know in the last, like how all these things gets linked with each other. Okay,
Okay.
because linking is very important. Okay,
Okay.
apart from that, there is another type of salary plan that is available named as unit salary plan. Okay,
Could you please type it?
unit salary plan.
Okay. Okay.
Unit salary plan. Any idea about this?
No.
So let's take an example. In the company, there are different type of workers, wherein the salary is defined based on number of units of the work delivered.
Okay, it's more like in the manufacturing industry.
Correct. Okay.
Okay.
Let's take an example. They are paid depending upon number of goods they make. For each good, they are being paid some
Okay.
respective revenue.
So
In that sense.
I experienced this in my manufacturing company where
Mhm.
we pay separately for the blue collared employees and the white collared employees. White collar
Yes.
are like non factory but not targeted.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay. So similarly, you can mention here unit salary plan.
Okay.
Okay. Here, compensation element, you can choose anything, right? Depending upon whatever you want to have here.
I
Uh,
will put like a base pay.
yeah. Okay. Let's select base pay.
Okay.
This is the unit. Here you have to define the unit, like in which unit you want to measure. Just to give you an example, there will be various different type of unit which is available, right? Like for example, you want to consider in terms of if it is related to land, it will be in acre. If it's related to book, bottle, box, card, case, right? Dozen. So in whichever unit you want to measure, like for example, let's take an example. It's a food delivery business, right? And you want to uh, the salary is completely based on the food packet, right? Or normally,
So
if
if
you
it's like a supermarket, what you'll do?
sorry,
If at all it's like a pay or compensation plan for a supermarket, say like we have let's take Reliance or Big Bazaar as a thing.
Mhm.
And if you wanted to put a compensation plan for the workers who are doing the cash counters, right?
Mhm.
Who are doing and who are taking care of the what to say, Big Bazaar supermarkets, how you will typically use
so
unit plan for them,
so
right?
normally it depends. Like normally for those type of workers, they're mainly on a hourly basis. Okay.
Okay.
But if in case you want to do like for each payment or each billing that happens, right? We have an option of each. Okay.
Okay.
We can use that. Okay. And apart from that, if in case there is, let me,
Can you just give me 1 minute, please?
yeah, sure.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry. Yes.
No problem. Okay. So normally those type of workers have worked for one of the retail client. So normally they pay in terms of,
Hourly basis.
yeah. But
Okay.
talking about the workers who work in the warehouses, right? For them, it goes talking about the each like for example, someone is in the packaging division, right? So talking about they get paid for each package that they are doing or for each dozen of package that they are doing. So it comes under that.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So let's take an example. If we are talking about for each dozen, right? So we have to define like what is the per unit amount that they will be getting for like 1 dozen of packaging that they do, right? Let's take an example. I want to define it as $10.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We have to define here the currency.
Okay.
Okay. Here default units. Okay. So there is a defined limit that they have, like minimum, what is the expected number of units that the worker is supposed to do. Okay.
Okay.
And that is the base that they have to do. If they are doing above that, they will get paid extra, right? But let's take an example. They are supposed to do 10 units, means 10 dozens, right? That is the by default amount that they have to do. Okay. If they are doing above that, well and good. Okay. So it's up to that. Talking about the frequency,
It has to be annual.
no. This
Okay.
period is related to the number of units. Like let's take an example. Here I'm talking about daily basis, right?
Mm-hmm.
So here it will come under that. But again, in the another words, this doesn't can be something related to something else, right?
Okay.
So in that scenario, this frequency will change. Let's take an example. I'm considering this for a salesperson, right? For salesperson, I can select some other unit, like depending upon the number of uh, books that they sell, if that is related to book, or if there is anything related to all this, they can choose that. Or else there is another option, like for example, one second.
We have something called target for target.
No,
Okay.
we can mention it in terms of the thousands as well. Like for every thousand of revenue, what is the amount that they are going to get? Okay, so it can be set up in that way as well.
So, for example, I'm having all say my organization is having 50 full time employees and 20 part time employees, totally a headcount of 70. Okay,
Mhm.
in that we have uh, two members as a part time employee working under sales,
Mhm.
and 10 members of the full time employees out of the 50 proportion is from the sales team. Okay,
Mhm.
so for them alone, I can create a salary plan for the sales team business unit alone, right?
Yes, correct.
And for the rest, they can be a full time other plan. And for them, this ideally, I will say like it will be more efficient, even though they're full time or part time, or although it is like mentioned as annual hourly rates.
Mhm.
I still see that we can make this more enhanced during the allowances plan, like sales incentives or
Correct.
any target incentive plans or structural allowances plan.
Correct.
Okay, okay,
Okay. So this is something which we have to define. No override. Okay. No override meaning here is if in case I use this checkbox, later
Mhm.
on, if I want to make any changes within this amount, right, manually at the later stage, without making, let's take an example. One worker did a really great job, and I want to pay him $2 extra for the per unit amount, right? I cannot do that
okay,
because I have chosen the option of no override. If in case this no override is not checked up, right, in that scenario, I can make manual changes for that specific worker. Okay. So it
okay,
depends upon the company, like in which way they want to segregate. Talking
okay.
about your question right now, okay, you mentioned like in your company you have 50 full time, there are 20 part time, right? Out of
Mhm.
50, there are 10 full time workers who are towards the sales side, and you want to consider them in this unit
Yeah,
side.
and
So in
also two
that
members from
scenario,
the part.
yeah. So how you will create the eligibility rule? Can you tell me any idea that you can have? Like if I want to segregate those 10 workers, like what is one of the easiest way by which I can segregate them?
Working
Could be
hours.
one thing that will be common for them.
One thing will be FT, where they will be easy to segregate based on the working hours they do.
No, so working hour, they are salaried employees, they will be full. Let's take an example. Uh, you mentioned there are 50 workers who are full time. Out of those 50 workers, 10
Okay.
are into the sales side. And those 10 people who are in sales sides, you want to segregate them. So how you will do that?
By department.
By? Correct.
Department.
It will be either by department. Okay. That is one thing. Another thing is job profile. Job profile is the easiest way. Okay.
Okay.
You
Okay.
mentioned sales, right? In sales department, there might be a sales manager. Okay. There might be a sales head, right? He will also fall under the same department. Apart from that, like if there is one specific organization, let's take an example in wherein we have only sales executive for whom I want to have this plan. So I can use either that department, okay, or else I can use the job profile specific to that.
Okay.
Okay, so that's how mainly we can create the eligibility rule. So normally here here we can select. I'm just randomly showing you like what field we will select. Okay, all here we have job profile. Here we have job profile compensation, job profile primary compensation. Right, there are multiple workday delivered fields. Whenever we have this scenario, we have to keep one thing in mind. We have to always go and check the description.
Okay.
Okay. Here I can see this is the calculated. This is someone who has created. I will not use this.
Okay.
Okay. Talking about the second one, returns the applicable job profile. Okay. This is a work delivered. This is
Okay.
one of the options that I can choose. And this is coming, this is linked with compensation eligibility, and
Yeah.
other thing is
Question.
related to job and the position. Okay.
Okay.
Let's check the next one. This is again returns the primary job profile. Okay. So we
Okay.
can use either one of this. It will work. Okay.
Okay.
So I can use here, I can mention, I can mention the job profiles here. Let's take an example. Sales executive. I'm not sure whether sales executive. Okay. I can use multiple different job profiles. Okay. If in case you want to use the department, right? Let's take an example. I want to define the department as well here. Right. I will search for supervisory organization. Are you aware? Like normally the department is known as supervisory organization in Workday.
Yes, I'm aware.
Okay. So we can use this. I can select the respective department. So this is how mainly we create the eligibility rules.
Okay.
Let's see if they have any sales department. I can choose sales and marketing or sales department. Okay. That's now in this eligibility rule, you will see one thing. Everything is an and. Means the worker should be of this department, the worker job profile should be this, the worker should be of full time, the worker should be of United States. When anyone satisfies all these four conditions, then only the worker will become eligible for this unit salary plan.
Okay.
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 If in case the worker satisfies all three conditions, but the worker is not of US, he is of some other country, this will not work.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I get that.
So that's it on this. Let us just look into the allowance plan.
Okay.
Allowance plan is something like which you will use frequently.
Yes.
But okay, let me discuss about the hourly plan first.
What did you mention? Hourly plan?
Yeah, like we had a salary plan, right, for
Okay.
the salaried workers. Similarly, we have hourly plan.
Okay. These are for the part-time intern workers
Yeah,
working.
it can be for anyone actually whom we want to pay on a hourly rate basis.
Yeah, because in Germany we have a concept called the full-time employees when they go wanted to go on a parental leave for 3 years, they have a parental leave for 3 years. They have an option to choose their when they are getting like a first-time parent, they have an option to choose getting into a part-time employment rather than a full-time employment. And person who wants to take a sabbatical leave,
Mhm.
in such cases, what you'll do?
Okay. So see, it depends upon scenario to scenario basis, and whichever way we want to utilize it, we can do
Let's
that.
this because this is something very common across Europe, where
Okay.
employees go on they wanted to take a part time, although they joined as a full time employee,
Mhm.
but they wanted to work only like, and they have an option to choose how many hours of part time they wanted to do. Either they
Okay.
want to work for 6 hours,
Mhm.
and where they're based on their number of hours they are working, it also auto changes. Otherwise, if they wanted to go for 50-50 or for 60-40, it is depending on their wish. We cannot force. It is employee's wish.
Okay.
In such cases, how to do that?
So what did you say? Can you please repeat it again?
So, for example, when I joined as an employee for a 40 hours plan, which is an
Mhm.
FTE plan, right?
Mhm.
But I have an option based on the governmental legal legislations. I, as an employee of this country, in this country, I have options to go on a part-time employment also. Okay.
Hmm.
So I can deliberately ask my employer, saying like, hey, I can only work out of the 8 hours, I can only deliver 5 hours of my work time
Hmm.
because I want to opt for a part time because of so and so personal reasons. Okay.
Hmm.
Or it can be like anything like I'm wanting to pursue my education in a thing where I wanted like only 60 percentage of my work time. The rest 40 percentage I wanted for my education purpose. So there are like multiple options people can go on a part time. In such case, what to do? Like
So
when
there is
say,
nothing, there is nothing majorly that we have to do, right? So you can see the FT percentage is 100%. Let's assume the weekly default hours are 40, right? I
oh,
can go to the actions. I can change a full-time percentage to 50 or 60, whatever we want. So normally we can change the job. Okay. There is a field that is available, job change.
okay,
It looks like I will not have the access. Let me show you. Who is our manager? So normally I can do the job change and I can decrease her full-time employment percentage. That's it. There is nothing that we have to do.
okay, okay. I get that now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Talking about here hourly plan, we can define here the compensation element as base pay.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Here we can mention the hourly amount. Okay. So
Okay.
normally in scenarios, the hourly amount differs. So that is not a mandatory field. So we can ignore that. We can keep it blank. Okay. We can
Okay.
just mention the currency. Let's take an example for US. We can define here the frequency.
Okay.
Let's take an example. Here I will define it in hourly basis because that is something which I am referring. Minimum wage, if in case I want to define any specific minimum wage, I can use this or else we can ignore. And again, the most important one is eligibility rules. We have to always define the eligibility rules for the various plan that we are creating. The reason being is for this plan, only specific group of people is going to be eligible. So we have to make sure like we are having the right set of eligibility rules because one worker should not become eligible for hourly and salaried plan both, or else it
Okay.
will contradict. Okay.
I get it.
So this is normally how we create the hourly plan. Okay. Now
Mm-hmm.
coming back to allowance plan.
Okay.
Okay.
So, Raj, how can I get the session? I know like the session is recorded. So, if I wanted to view back the recording session, whom I should reach out because I haven't got yesterday's session recording.
I will just ping them after the session so that they
Okay.
will share it with you. I think it will be, you already have access to LMS, right?
Yes. Yes.
There you will have it.
Okay. Then I will check. Thank
Okay.
you.
So there was another, when I was briefing you about the unit salary plan, right? You mentioned me, like if in case I want to give some additional allowance to any specific worker, right?
Mm, yes.
So depending upon the work and all, right? So we can use this various allowances plan that is available. Okay.
Absolutely. Because here, I will tell you what, because in India, it was very different. Okay.
Hmm.
Here, employees, whatever the variable incentives, like a short term incentive, cash compensation, or a long term if they are part of equity plans, that will
Hmm.
be applied for every employee. Okay.
Hmm.
And for sales employees, because of the nature of the job, their variable incentive percentage is divided into two blocks. Okay, they will also be eligible for the regular variable incentives based on the company's target ratio and the individual's performance ratio. And also, uh, if for example, if a normal employee, non-sales employee is getting say like 20 percentage of discretionary variable bonus based
Hmm.
on the individual's performance and based on the company's performance, 20 percentage of their base is their variable bonus. But for a sales employee at the same job level, at the same job grade, say like if both these employees are at a L3 level, okay, which is very junior, or like a L1 level, which is very very level. Both are like say like a finance analyst and a sales analyst. Okay, so if that is the case, both are in the same job, right? And this percentage of variable for the salesperson will be the 20 percentage divided into two. One is like 10 percentage of their target achievement on sales, and 10 percentage of the base. In such cases, how you will do the allowance plan for them?
So in that scenario, we create allowance plan separately for both of them. I will not have one allowance plan in that scenario.
Yeah, that's what how you do. That's what my question is.
Okay. So what you wanted to give based on the percentage you mentioned, right? Like 20% something, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So see, if I talk about allowance plan,
Mm-hmm.
right? So first of all, this reimbursable that you see, this is the checkbox, all right?
Yes.
So mainly there are many different plans. To give you an example, like mm, car allowances or fuel allowances or internet allowances. So normally there can be a scenario wherein you have to those allowances will be reimbursed, right? You have to submit the bills and everything, and whatever will be the defined limit, like up to a certain limit, the
Yeah,
amount will be refunded. Okay,
amount
in
based.
that scenario, we can use this reimbursable. Talking about the allowance plan, there are three different type of allowances plan that we can create. One is
Yes.
amount based. Amount based means there is a specific amount. Let's take an example for internet allowances. I want to pay $100 per month.
Okay.
Okay. Talking about percentage. So here we can define a percentage. Okay. Like you will get, if you become eligible, depending upon the like your salary, you will be eligible for 10% of your base salary. Okay.
I feel like most of the time we never use percentage on base plan. That is only applicable for a variable incentives. But
Okay.
when it comes to allowances, let's stick on to the amount based plan itself.
Okay.
Okay.
Apart from that, here we have unit based plan. Okay.
Like what we did for the unit salary employees. It's
Yes, correct.
one. Okay.
Okay. So the unit salary plan is they will get paid only
Mm-hmm.
depending upon the number of units that they are producing or their number of units that they're working on. This is something additional that they will be getting as an allowance. So there is a difference between that, and there is a difference between this, the salary plan and allowance plan.
Yeah, and allowances is different from bonus.
Correct.
Okay, this is allowance. To my understanding, allowances are like by default you're performing or not. As an employee of this organization, you are entitled for these allowances.
Correct.
Yeah,
Okay. So let's look into the amount based plan.
yeah.
So this is simple and straightforward one. You can just let's name it as
Okay,
okay.
okay,
You can mention here any FT that comes into picture. Okay.
okay,
Here, compensation element will be like, for example, car allowance.
okay,
Okay, because this is the separate one that we are using. Okay, here I can define a specific amount like $200.
okay. Currency USD.
Okay, frequency can be monthly.
Okay,
Okay, but let's consider here I will define the eligibility rule. Like car allowances will not like all the workers will not be eligible for car allowances. Like it will be only vice president, president, or
yes.
maybe CEO, or maybe high level managers. So whichever group of people will be eligible, I will define the eligibility accordingly. Okay.
Okay. So here
Now,
it is like
mhm,
job levels.
correct. It's up
Okay.
to us. Like in whichever, like if there is any specific job profile, only that they are going to be eligible, we can define in that way as well.
Yeah,
Okay.
because most of the organization they have their job level say like uh, people at the higher management like VP above or directors and above they have a car allowances, so we
Correct.
can go by the levels.
So normally that is called as management level in Workday.
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's talk about there is a car allowances plan, and this company is located in multiple countries.
Okay.
Okay, and they want to give this car allowances to 2 3 countries that they are in. So
Okay.
we are not supposed to create 3 separate plans, okay, of car allowances, like for car allowances for US, car allowances for Australia, car allowances for Canada, car allowances for Germany. That is not mandatory. We can do that in the same one. Okay.
Like how we did the create compensation plan, we can do it for the multiple countries.
Yes. In a similar way, what I can do is I can click on the plus sign here. I will just remove the amount from here. I
Okay.
can remove the currency here. I can keep this frequency as it is. Okay.
Okay.
And here I will define the amount. Let's take an example, $200.
Oh,
Currency is USD.
yeah.
I will here define the separate eligibility rule. Like worker is from US. Okay.
Okay.
Worker is manager.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I will, apart from that, I will add one more wherein I will define
So,
150.
for example, let's put like this.
Mhm.
Okay. So, compared to Germany, Netherlands, the expenses of fuel is pretty inexpensive because of the
Mhm.
carbon ratios. Okay. So, I have euro. Okay. Both Netherlands and Germany has euros.
Mhm.
But I wanted to give my Netherlands employee 150, but my German employees gets 300,
Mhm.
like double the size of the amount because
Mhm.
of fuel expenses. In such cases, how you will put the
So
currency here?
it's
You will just
simple and straightforward, right? Let's take an example. Let's talk about Netherlands. Okay. It's
that
for
will
Netherlands,
be
it's
better.
200 euro.
Yeah.
Okay. I will
And
define here the eligibility. Okay. That worker is from Netherlands.
okay. So the
Okay.
system auto takes okay. The system reads the eligibility rule and populates the data accordingly.
Correct. Okay.
Okay.
Here I will again define 400
Again, euro.
euro. And in the eligibility rule section, now I will create a new eligibility rule and I will define the worker is of Germany. Worker
Can
level is
can you
this.
doing that for me, please? I
Yes,
just
sure.
want to know how you do.
I'm mentioning worker is of Germany and manager.
Hmm.
And management level is manager. Okay. First of all, I'll use the same field country.
Okay. Any selection.
Okay.
Okay.
I will add the management level. Always choose the compensation
Okay. Okay.
or else it will not work.
Okay.
Here you will get all the options like board of directors, CEO, managers, everything. Right?
Yes.
I want to go with the manager. I will choose the manager. If in
Okay.
case you want to define anything else as in the criteria, we
Can
can
we
add on.
can we just make one more as a criteria like director? I
So
just
if in
want.
case I wanted to give for managers and director, I will choose, I have an option to choose multiple, right? Here, I will choose director.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we'll update the name as manager and
Director. Okay.
okay. Once this is done,
Okay.
I will copy this criteria.
Hmm.
I will update it here. Similarly, I will do one thing. I will create another rule. In eligibility rule, we have copy functionality as well.
Hmm.
I will mention here Netherlands. Okay.
Okay.
I will copy the same criteria that was there. That will automatically pop up here. I
Okay.
will
It's
remove,
expanded.
yeah. So you can copy this. After it gets copied, you can remove this. Only have to change the country now because I want to give it to managers and director in Netherlands as well.
Okay.
But here I will mention the country as Netherlands.
So you have both. Okay.
Yes. And I will update this. Okay.
Yeah.
That's it. So worker of Germany will get 400.
Mhm.
Worker of Netherlands who are manager and director, they will get 200. So this is how mainly we can create this.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Now I get it. So it is depending, as you said, like it is all depending on what you put in the eligibility rule function, like
Correct.
how you created like for Netherlands and Germany separately. If you add those conditions, the system will auto populate and it will apply this allowances plan only for those employees who are, like, for example, there are board of directors or directors in Germany. It'll apply for 400 by default and
Correct.
200 for the Netherlands. Okay, get it. Thanks.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now when we create all these plans, right? Different plans like till now we have created. Now I want what I would wish is if in case anyone is being hired in Germany, right?
Okay. Okay.
This allowances plan should automatically become
Applicable for them.
for that specific worker at the time of
Journey.
hire. Whenever I'm defining the component, that should pop up automatically. So
Okay.
normally how that happens? For that, what we do is we create compensation package.
Okay.
Normally, this compensation package is different for different companies. Sorry, different countries. That's how mainly we segregate. We can segregate it based on the different companies as well. Okay.
Mhm.
Let me go to the task create compensation package. For now, I'm just giving random dates.
Okay.
Let's take an example. I want to give this as a name as compensation package German.
Okay.
Okay. I will define the eligibility rule here because this compensation package is specifically for Germany, right? So we'll define here one single criteria is important that the worker should be of which location? He should be of Germany location.
Yeah.
Apart from that, for Germany location, whatever compensation grades that we have, like whatever compensation grades that we have created, we'll add in over here.
Okay.
Okay. I'm just randomly adding like whatever we have created. Okay, I'm just randomly using some other one. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So normally in this compensation package, what we have to do is we have to list in all the grades, all the plans, each and every item over here.
Okay.
Okay. Here, whatever plans we have created, we will include in here.
Mm-hmm.
So normally by this, what will happen is it will default automatically all the plans, not to everyone, only for those workers who have the right set of eligibility.
Okay.
Okay. So this is how normally it defaults. Okay. Like for example, compensation grade. Right. So
Okay.
compensation grade, let's take an example. I have created a compensation grade of level L1 for different countries. So let's take an example. I have defined the criteria for Germany. So for the Germany worker, whatever pay range will be, it will pop up automatically. Apart from that, for that specific Germany worker, whatever allowances plan, whatever salary plan, whatever would be there, it will default automatically to that specific worker. We do not have to go ahead and assign it manually. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Related to compensation basis, we will discuss in the upcoming session. So I will not get into that.
Okay.
For today's session, there was one thing. It was related to job profile. I wanted to show you job profile, like how all this gets linked at the job profile.
Yeah.
Let me create one. So talking about the job profile, right? Let me give. Tell me any name that you want for job
Uh,
profile.
let's say like an expert.
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
So, for creating a job profile, you have to give a name. If in case there is a code, job code that you want to have for this specific job profile, you mention the code here. If in
Oh,
case I want to include this code name with the job profile name, I can use this checkbox and I can define the code here. Job
oh,
title default, I will keep it as the same name. Okay. Apart from that, I have an option to restrict this job profile to any specific country as well. Let's take an example. I want to use this job profile only for Germany. I can
mhm.
mention here Germany. So this job profile will be applicable only for Germany location, not for other.
I
Okay.
have a question here.
Mhm.
Okay. So in our company we have like various departments like we have supervisory organizations, right, as per Workday's concept. So let's say like we have sales, we have finance, risk management, and HR and and other team members. So we have something called cost utilization.
Is
Okay,
something called?
cost utilization,
Okay.
where we have particular code based on the cost center of
Mhm.
the day. This is basically managed cost, you know, the cost center, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I, it's like HR, you have a cost center code just like a job code.
Mhm.
So can we also classify it using the cost center, because we use that evidently here, because this is mainly for our workforce planning. Okay, when we do a comp budgeting for the annual, right, we go
So
by the
with
cost center.
respect to cost center, what do you want to classify here with respect to job profile? That I'm not able to understand.
So cost center is basically to in case of any of the annual compensation or allowances plan,
Mhm.
during the budgeting process or budgeting cycle. The finance
Mhm.
team, the comp team, we distribute the budget based on the cost centers, each of the departments involved. For
Mhm.
example, say like the cost center ID code for finance is 007, and
Mhm.
for HR it's 006, right? For
Mhm.
each of the cost center, say like so and so millions are allocated as their budget based on
Mhm.
their skills and based on their forecast of how many we are going to, like hiring forecast and the attrition forecast. Based on that, we'll just define how many is required based on the buffer count of futuristic employees as well in
No,
terms of
so at the job profile level, we do not have that option.
okay, okay, okay.
Okay. Yesterday you're mentioning about like job profile summary, description, any additional job description or job classification, right? So we can update those respective information, right,
Mhm.
at the job profile level only. We do not have to do it elsewhere.
Okay, nice,
Okay.
great.
Talking about management level, like here we were talking about, for example, board of directors, CEO, agent, executive vice president, director, manager, supervisor, individual contributor. So all these are the various management level that is available. Let's take an example. This expert SME is nothing but at a
Okay,
manager level or at whatever level we want to keep them, right? It's up to us. Let's assume I'm keeping them in the manager level. Job level, if in case we have different job levels that is available and we want to keep this job profile at some specific job level, we can define it here. Okay.
Okay.
Job family. Job family is nothing but might be this expert or SME, or like all the SMEs I want to keep in one category or in one job family. I can create one job family and I can link this job profile with respect to that. Okay. Similarly, we can do the categorization of the job profiles, right? This job family and job category is mainly used to segregate one type of job profile. Just to give you an example, like if I talk about HR side, right? In HR side, there are multiple different group of workers. Like for example, a recruiter, right? Recruiting manager, right? So there are. So if I want to keep them all of them in one job family, let's take an example in the HR side. So I will create one job family name as HR, and I will include all the relevant job profiles in one, so that I will be well aware, like within one HR side, what are the all the job profiles that I have, because I will be linking that job family to all the respective job profiles. Did you get this?
I get this.
Okay. A referral payment plan, company insider type, if there are any such, these are the additional functionality that is available. If in case we want to use them, we can have it. Okay. Work shift required. There are different job profiles wherein it is required to work in multiple shift, right? In that scenario, we can use this checkbox. Inactive. Let's take an example. I have created this job profile, but in after using it for some time, the company decided like we do not want to use this anymore. So in Workday, we do not have an option to delete anything. If in case I have used it in the past,
Okay.
instead of that, I have an option that I can inactivate that. So
Mm-hmm.
this is that option. Okay.
Okay.
Talking about pay rate types, like for example, this job profile can be in for multiple different countries wherein different pay rate type is available. So I can define it here. This is again characteristics. This is related to talent management. Like for example, difficulty to fill. There are different job profiles which are not easy to fill, right? So we can define like what is the level for filling this job. Like if I talk about vice president or CFO roles, they are not that easy to fill for any specific company. So normally we define the characteristics here, okay? Because this mainly gets used in the succession planning, okay? Let's take an example. In my company currently, I have a CFO, and our company get to know, okay, he is going to leave the company, right?
And you have someone who is taking care
Yeah,
at the SVP level, getting into that level. Yes.
yeah, correct. So no, in succession planning, mainly what happens is normally when the company gets to know, okay, there is some scenario like the employee will not be able to continue for upcoming time. So what they do is they identify some of the company, some of the workers internally, and they try to get them
The
to that level. Okay.
the immediate next level of focus would be as SVP level of
Yes.
employees. That
So
is
like
for
for yeah, for all those specific, like it's not mandatory to have this for all the job profiles. Only wherein we feel like okay, it's necessary and we want to have that, we can use this functionality. Okay. Now
okay.
coming to this compensation section, which was the important one. Okay. Compensation. Like normally we have to define like this job profile comes under which compensation grade or grade profile. Okay. So this
Okay.
is how the compensation grade gets linked to the job profile. So, for example, I have linked this to some specific job compensation grade, right? So we will have we will know like for this expert level, what
Mhm.
is the pay range, right? So accordingly, we define that specific grade, compensation grade here, so that it gets linked here.
Okay.
Okay. So that is all. Apart from that, these are related to other information that we want to fill in, right? Whether this job is job exempt or non-exempt. This is specific to United States. Okay. Workers' compensation codes. If there are any compensation related codes that we have with respect to different countries or location, we can mention that. If in case this job profile needs any certifications, okay, what are the competencies, education, languages? If there are any additional information that we want to fill in or update, right? we can have this. These are mainly for the talent management module that it is mainly used for.
Okay.
Okay, so this is all about job profile and how the job profile gets mainly linked with the compensation grade.